Hello, 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 friends, and welcome to maybe the stream I am most excited about that we have done so far this year. Would you guys agree? Am I just
Yes.
tooting my own surface horn too much?
Oh, actually,
Absolutely.
you're tooting your horn too much.
Too much.
You are.
Obviously, I don't know how I can cope with so much excitement, guys, because we've heard Windows 11 is coming, and now this morning, while we were sleeping in Australia and New Zealand, Panos Panay and Satya Nadella got up and did the most amazing announcement I have seen for Microsoft Surface, and I just, guys, I can't wait to talk more about these devices, to tell you guys, share some of our favorite things with all of you, for us to share our favorite things, to hear from you guys. Monique, Matt, we have been through so many Surface launches together, so I'm really happy to see you guys here with us. Stephen, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. But Fletch, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I am. I'm really good. It's an amazing day, like you say. Maybe not the best day. There was Windows 11, so I'm just gonna put that one out there. That's stiff competition, but I don't know if I could choose between the two because this is like the best Surface launch, in my opinion, for a few years, almost since you decided to leave us, Hannah.
I feel like I came back right at the right time. It's like I was summoned. I was summoned, and I knew that exciting things were about to happen. So I'm very glad to be back, and I'm very glad to be with you guys talking about this stuff. AP, obviously, the man, the myth, the legend, the Windows guy himself. How are you feeling about this announcement, my friend?
I'm excited on two different levels. I'm excited that I finally got invited back to a stream. But more seriously, I'm very excited about those products. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if I had to have a wish list for everything that was on Surface products, we've done it. And this is not a dream, right? Like, I'm just not pretending this happened. So it's super, super exciting. I'm so glad to be part of it, and I can't wait to get my hands on all of these devices.
I felt like I was nodding along the whole time, like, yes, this is the perfect thing. This is the perfect thing. This is what everyone's wanted.
See, wow. I was totally at my computer this morning, like no lights on, like glowing against my face, like with a coffee, hair in a bun, just being like, oh my gosh, like, yay, yes. I have watched the sizzle, literally clapping out loud to no one. Now I'm clapping to all of you. But oh my goodness, like you said, AP, just everything that could have been on the wish list has been ticked off right in time for Christmas as well. We do have some great shout outs in the chat to ExpertZone 2. And, you know, Season Pass 2 just went live as well. And the Xbox accreditation also went live too. Naturally, the Surface accreditation will be coming in really, really soon as well. So please keep it locked to ExpertZone. But guys, where do you want to begin with all things Surface today?
I think I know, Hannah. I think I know. Can I show it? Can I show it? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Cool. I'm going to show it.
I'm so we go off screen during those videos because I was just like grooving the whole time. We can see each other down the bottom, and I was just like, oh, the little like so good. It makes me excited. Ty, you're totally right. What a time to be alive. Fletch, I know that you are the biggest Surface Go fan. What are your initial reactions to the new Surface Go 3?
Oh man, so for me, like, it's already this amazing device that is like just great value for what it is, right? We talk about it all the time. Like I get an amazing Surface experience with my Go 2 and a lot of power packed into the form factor as well. But now we've got Intel i3s in there. And I thought that was, just a really cool thing, just because it's bringing that prestige to the device, right? It was already awesome, but I don't know if it had that same prestige level as some of our others do. And I think adding that i3 in there brings that rating up in everyone's mind, right? So, like, I know that's a little thing. It's something that we normally wouldn't choose because we're all about what can it actually do for the device. But for me, I just think it's going to make other people become as big a fan of that device as I am.
Absolutely. And like I love what you're saying there, Fletch, because I think that sometimes like the Pentium versus the i-series processors can be a little bit of a perception thing. But also, it is that little bump in power for people to do anything and everything that they want to be able to do. So what I loved so much about that video is it just shows you that Surface experience and how it really, brings Windows 11 to life, that experience of being able to use it as a laptop, as a tablet, plug it in with a Surface dock, use it with an external monitor. So good. AP, what would be your favorite shout out about like that whole connected experience?
Ooh, how many? How can I narrow this down? I like the fact that the combination of the power of the i3 and LTE in the same sort of form factor, because I think that form factor is just right. We've got it right, and we've just improved on it now. So I can go out and do my work, when we can, remotely, get the battery life I need, but also I don't have to, if I've already got like a Go 1, I can use the same accessories. I don't have to go buy new stuff. So I think it's a real good testament that we've been able to sort of like jam all of that stuff in there and not have to kind of redesign the thing to be able to have new accessories that kind of, it's a bit of a pain. I know we've all been there with, whatever product, it doesn't matter. You're like, I don't want to buy this new thing. But with Go 3, you've got all of that goodness and you can use all of your peripherals and accessories that you used before. I think that's pretty important, especially for devices like that.
Absolutely. And I think like the Go range is such a nice entry point into the Surface family. Having those price points is awesome, but we still don't sacrifice on that Surface experience, right? We still have that iconic Surface kickstand, those iconic type covers, being able to attach, detach, fold it up, use it as a cover for your screen. Quite often we talk about the Surface Go in terms of being like maybe a companion device for if you've got, say, a desktop at home, but you're not going to lug your desktop to the local cafe and do a bit of work from there. The kinds of things we dream about while we're in lockdown. But being able to, have something that you can just grab, put in your handbag or your backpack or under your arm or on the car seat next to you, whatever it may be, having that super portable, ultralight experience. Our awesome tagline for this, I really love, is Ready, Set, Go Anywhere. And I think that really sums it up, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think I am, and I know you're going to say this at some point if I don't say it, Hannah, but I am really excited just about the touch experience, because obviously my one is Windows 10 Home and S mode, but it's coming in Windows 11 Home and S mode. So I know it's going to be a bit blurry, but you can see on my one, I've set it up with that taskbar going down that left-hand pane, so that no matter what position I have it in, I can really quickly open and close things. But look, my one complaint about it is the touch is too accurate on Windows 10. My fingers are too big.
Yeah.
Pixel Sense is so amazing that it is literally too accurate. So Windows 11 is dialing that back slightly and adding in those gesture controls. So, now I'll be able to swipe my 3 fingers to the left and right and go between those different applications I have open and 4 fingers to go between desktops. That is going to make me so quick at using this device as a touch device. And it's going to make the experience better than it even is now. And you can see it's got no type cover. I don't know where the type cover is because I only use it in touch. But I'm really excited about that. I don't know if people are as hyped about it as me.
Carl is right there with you. Feel you
are.
on the big fingers problem. And I think that that's just it. You know, you no longer have to be a precision wizard. Even I have small childlike hands, and sometimes I can't quite get that flow right. So, you know, with Windows 11, we've talked about it a little bit on other streams before, but like you're saying, Fletch, like that experience where when you take off a type cover, the icons in the start menu just slightly move away from each other and be a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And like it does it so like quickly and naturally and intuitively that you don't even really notice it. Like every time I watch a video, I'm like, did you see that? Like, oh my gosh, because it just goes whoop, and it makes it easier to touch. And then also like when you're trying to move windows around, it creates like a shadow background, if you will. So if you're holding an app to move it, there's a shadow behind it so you can see where it's going to go. If you need to resize it, the same thing. So you know how big or small you're going to make it. You know where on your screen that's going to move to. And, you know, I think especially for the Go 3, the Pro 8, the Surface Pro X, you know, really maximizing that tablet experience so we can all get the most out of the form factor and the great things that kind of make this product so special. Windows 11's just gonna, boom, it's gonna knock it out of the park on these devices.
Absolutely. Oh, I know, and just looking at them, right? Is that even the right device? They're so similar looking, but
I think so. I think you got it right.
Yeah. Oh no,
no, it's not.
Wrong. We got to the right corner and we no.
Saved. We're good.
But yeah, I'm really excited just seeing all these little improvements in it. It's probably the one that doesn't have the most standout, exciting improvements compared to some of the other devices that we're talking about. But I'm just looking forward to getting my hands on it and comparing it to what I have now and figuring out what did I not know that I was missing.
Yes,
and I think
which Go will show me.
We've talked about that already so much with Windows 11, right? So I think paired with like the spec bump that the Go 3 is getting and that new Windows experience, as much as you love your Surface Go now already, Fletch, I think, boom, the satisfaction level is just going to raise the roof, my friend.
Absolutely. I really think you're right. But I know there's other devices that you guys are excited to talk about, right?
Look, you can't help yourself, can you? You're just like, can we talk about it yet? Can we talk about it yet?
Absolutely. As always, we would absolutely love to hear from you guys in the chat. So please let us know what you guys are most looking forward to about the Surface Go 3. But let's move on to the next one. Shall we, Fletch?
Oh, yeah.
Monique has called it. The preview videos, oh my gosh, they are so good. I go on and on and on about them forever. But what I love so much about them is not only the way that they highlight the products, but I always find it so interesting to hear what stands out to different people. Because even, you know, we all kind of got up this morning, we watched the announcement, we came together and we talked about stuff. And what I was like, man, I can't wait for this. AP was like, oh, but what about this? And we kind of all had that different perspective. And even just from watching, you know, that video less than a minute, I think there's probably different things that we've all got out of it. So AP, what is the first thing in there, my friend, that you were like?
Better not steal mine.
Yeah.
You better not.
Pro 8, here we go.
I feel like, I don't know. I'm going to go for the lesser known or the lesser focused on, because I think that that's still super important. We have improved the camera on the Surface Pro 8 in a big way, and there's lots of other cool things that we're going to talk about. But we've improved the Windows Hello login. It was great before, but sometimes backlighting kind of put it off, and facial hair and kind of like having glasses on, it wasn't perfect. So we've actually added an additional sensor in there to help with that backlight situation. So not only has it got a dedicated camera to do the video, it's got a dedicated image sensor to be able to do the Windows Hello login too, which I think is super cool, right? Because you want to be able to log into your device, you don't want to be mucking around. So that's what I love. I also love something else, but I feel like Hannah's giving me the wind up because she wants to talk about something.
No, I love how like as soon as you started talking, both me and Fletch were like, what are you going to say? Like, don't take what I want to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I didn't, did I? I didn't.
You didn't. Not for me. Maybe for Fletch. Fletch?
No, not for me. I'm still crossing my fingers. I'm like way too excited to talk about these things.
Your next one. Take it away.
You know me.
Don't do it.
Well, we've got 13-inch.
Don't take it.
Screen. I'm just baiting Fletch up. A 13-inch screen, and I went, well, that's very similar to the Pro X, right? It's got 2 USB ports. I'm like, have we just put the stuff into a Pro X chassis? Wrong. So we've actually completely redesigned like the innards of the device, particularly around cooling. So put a few notes here because there's so much cooling stuff in there. So the new Pro 8, it uses vapor chambers and 3 heat pipes and 3 graphite heat spreaders. So we've done a whole bunch of testing to tune the parameters for how that works, even down to having the lowest acoustic noise when the fan is on. We've added some extra vents on the side so the airflow can flow through the device, because that's really, really important. We all want more power, and the improvements, there's like 45% more compute and 75% boost to graphics, which is wicked. But we can't have a device that is like, something we've taken off the stove. So all of this cooling thing has come through. And, vapor chambers are kind of synonymous with some pretty serious heat sink devices, right? And we've now managed to make the device smaller, more powerful, and cool it better. So, I just try not to skim over those things, because I don't know. Clearly, I'm not making them because that would be a disaster for everyone. But I think that's really, really cool, and stuff we don't talk about sometimes. Yeah. And with that, we've actually increased the battery size to 50 watt hours. So that's pretty crazy, So more time, happy days. I'm a happy camper.
I'm such a happy camper. Go, Fletch.
The Asus Swift used to shout out, how it had water cooling, right? A closed water cooling loop. We pretty much have that, but better now. I mean, that was a few years ago, so obviously technology has improved. But that's what a vapor chamber and those heat pipes are. They've got moisture in it, so that, when it does heat up in the vapor chamber, it goes up to the top of the chamber, it condenses, and then that water is cold when it comes back down. So it's just like such an efficient way of keeping heat under control. It's really cool, and like really simple ideas, right? It's just, we'll make the water turn into a gas and then condensate, so turn back into water. And how can we do that over the biggest space available? That's what a vapor chamber is.
See, this is why I invited you guys along. I'm sorry, AP. I'm just basically tuning in to be like, I don't really understand exactly what you're talking about. I don't really understand exactly how it works, but I do understand what it's going to mean for me when I'm using it, right? It's going to perform how I want it to. It's not going to sound like it's going to like take off and be like whenever I try and open too many things. It's going to give me that best experience that I want to get out of my device, which is so important. And it's just so exciting to see, as you guys are saying, the fact that they've packed this all in to a thinner, lighter, less bezel screen. How have they done this?
I don't know. And you know what? That's just, I'm not going to talk too much more, but that's the point. And that's what I love about Surface. Yes, it's, we believe it's the best of Microsoft with the hardware and software, you shouldn't want to know about thermal cooling. What you want to do is go do your thing and not have a hot 2-in-1 on your lap or bad battery life. That's the kind of perfect stuff about it. It's cool for us to know, cool for us to tell, people about it. But, for essence, you don't have to know how it works. It's just like, it's going to stay cool. But there are some things. That's right. There are some things that on the Pro 8 that I think that I'm not going to talk about. Don't worry. That people have been asking about, because there are things, certain things that we need, and people have said for a long time, "Hey, we need this on there. It'd be great if it had that." So maybe you guys want to talk to some of those new features, because there's going to be a lot of relieved and be very happy people out there that some of those things have come across.
100%. So as we, were showing those 360 videos, the one thing that we noticed when we were like, oh, not the Go, was that it was the Pro 8, because it now has those 2 USB-C ports. And Fletch, I would love for you to tell us more about what this means.
Absolutely. So, like these 2 USB-C ports, what we've done is we've brought Thunderbolt to the table, right? Thunderbolt is in its 4th iteration. We think it's, technology is more available. We needed to get it on there. People were asking us for it. And we think there's enough reason now to have that on and not just have it there to blow up the price of the machine, right? Yeah. There's technology that's very usable. This is like Michael shouted out, 120 hertz screen. It's got a great deal of power in there so that it can really make use of going to multiple 4K monitors, whether that's with something like the Surface Dock or anything else. It's really cool to have that on. And it's what people have been asking for. It's there now. It's there.
100%. Thunderbolt. And I'm really excited about that too. And, as you guys may or may not have picked up, I'm not the most technical person myself. And I remember, especially in the early days of USB-C, people were kind of, but there's this version that does this, but there's also this that does that, and, this and that. And it was really confusing.
Don't you like hearing about USB 3.2 versus 3.1 Gen 2? I thought everyone liked to talk about that.
You guys talk about it, so I can nod and smile and be like, what he said.
No, it was so confusing.
And I think that's exactly it, right? And, we're definitely well aware that people have been asking for that Thunderbolt port in Surface for such a long time. But I think that, now the time is right. USB-C has become a lot more of an industry standard, being able to really maximize those ports for it to work with stuff that you need it to work with, having all of that in the market and ready to go. Like anything I've bought for my devices recently, whether it be, a stream cam to help look better on camera, whatever, everything arrives with a USB-C these days. So I think that, now that technology has made that leap, it is the perfect time and the perfect place in the Pro 8 to have that Thunderbolt port in there now.
Can I do my favorite one? I'm dying.
Yes, as long as it's not my favorite.
Not the display.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure it could be.
Mum and Dad are fighting again.
It's not the display. I said the display initially this morning, but the more that the days progressed, and the thing that really stood out to me the first time I heard about this device, when we were watching Announce, was the haptic feedback.
Yes,
I like inking. I'm gonna like inking even more, and I have people's names in my head. They're people who like to write it down, Jonesy, but they don't like to write down. They don't like to write down on their device, right? Because they don't have that same feeling. And this haptic feedback, I think, is going to help those people. And the way that I kind of think about it, and this might be a really funny way of thinking about it, but I talked about this with AP a while ago. Remember when DualShock first got released, AP?
Yes.
How much of a game changer that was for games. How much more immersive you felt. Like, when my Xbox controller is now low on batteries and I lose my vibration, the game just feels... it feels weird. It feels different to play, right? And it's all about that immersion. It's all about getting that right feeling while you're doing what you're doing. So haptic feedback in this, guys. We're going to have Jonesy talk about it one day, and the difference it's made for her. I think it's so important. It's a game changer that people don't see. I'm sorry, I'm talking. I'm excited.
That's totally it, though, Fletch. Like, a barrier for a lot of people to, that digital inking experience, whether it be just from writing stuff down to using it, fully converting from traditional art mediums to a digital art medium, is that feeling that you get. And, I'm sure this haptic isn't going to be like when you crash into a wall in Forza and it just goes, like you're not supposed to crash your car. I'm sure it's not going to be like that, but it's designed to emulate that feeling. A brush on a canvas feels different to a pencil on paper. So we want to give you those feelings through the pen, and I'm so excited. So thank you for stealing my one, Fletcher.
I knew I was going to. I'm so sorry.
As soon as you said it, I was like, hey, Fletch. But something super important in that video that I hope you guys noticed is that there is a new type cover for the Pro. So opposite to what AP was saying with the Go 3, this time around with the Pro 8, the type cover is not backwards compatible. So that's something super important to know for your customers or for yourselves if you're thinking now's the time to upgrade. If you are upgrading from a Surface Pro whatever, you are now going to need to buy a new type cover for that. But there's heaps of benefits to that as well. I have lost many a Surface pen into the abyss because I've had it, I've been out and about in store, or, maybe there's just some lurking at the bottom of my handbag that I don't know about. But, if you knock it too hard, it does fall off. So I am going to save a lot of money having a nice little home, a nice house for my Surface Slim Pen 2. Surface Slim Pen 2. I need to remember that one. Every time I say it, I'm like, is that what it's called? Yes, it is. So there is a new type cover that goes along with that. So it's pretty much identical to the ones that came out with the Pro X. Was it last year or the year before? When that came out. So it
the year before.
It has that same connection. And you can now house the pen in there, and it also charges in there, which is super duper ultra mega awesome. So that Surface Slim Pen 2 is, it's got that haptic motor in it, so you can feel that experience. It recharges. It's got the click pen at the top, which you can erase with as well, which obviously is like nothing else on the market. And being able to recharge it in its little house is what I'm most looking forward to with that as well.
It's amazing. Wahoo. I can't wait to try it. I might actually be able to ink on there. The haptic feedback is like, friction for your fingers as you're moving across.
Absolutely.
The thing, right?
I'm taking that, and I'm gonna probably say that forever from here on out. It's like friction for your fingers. Friction for your fingers,
or something like that. But that's it. Like, it's that disconnect, just like the DualShock, right? For me, writing on a touchscreen feels like playing a game without the haptic motors or the haptic feedback in the controller. So I can't wait to be able to do that and take notes for real.
Yeah.
100%. Can I do mine now?
Yeah, you can talk. I guess you can talk.
Please.
It's not like what is it?
It's your show.
I invited you guys here for a reason. No, we have alluded to it many, many times, but the screen. The screen, the display, I am so looking forward to this. Michael called it out nice and early that 120 hertz refresh rate is going to be such a game changer. I use it on my phone and I can't go back. Like, I've got a Galaxy S20 and just that really nice, thank you, Monique. Love you always. That really nice flow when I'm playing SimCity, being able to like swoop across my village nice and easily. Now when I go back to like my iPhone 8 that I had before that, it's like a potato. The screen is not good. It is not good in comparison. It doesn't have that same flow. So I have loved this experience so much on my phone that I cannot wait to see it come in to the Surface Pro 8. But even better, they have also decreased the bezel around that screen. So it's now a full 13-inch and it's going to look amazing, it's going to feel amazing, and that 120 hertz is going to help with that new pen experience as well. So I just can't wait to get my hands on it and try it, because I think while some of these things sound like small changes, I think when you're actually using them, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, you will. I think that's the first thing that people will notice, like using the device, not just because you're getting that vibration back, it'll just feel different. And that's down to the screen making everything feel just so smooth. It's
absolutely.
it's underrated how big a difference that'll make the first time you pick up that device.
100%. And AP, you found out some really cool things about the screen and how it works just before we jumped on the screen.
Yeah, it's really cool. So as part of this is a Pixel Sense Flow touchscreen, just to be really clear for people, because that's different. And you do need a Pixel Sense Flow touchscreen to enable the haptic feedback in the pen. But some really cool things that, like, it's not all work and play here. Sorry, it's not all work. And people want to play on their device as well too. So if you're watching something, some content from Netflix or whatever, there's actually an ambient color sensor that's built into these displays now. So it dynamically adapts to your lighting around you. So it can change the color space and the coloring and the tint or the hue, and increase and decrease the brightness as well. So it can go from all the way from 450 nits down to just 2. So that's something really cool, especially at nighttime. You pick up your device, blows your eyes out. But also sometimes without that brightness, right? If you've got the brightness wound down, sometimes, if you're looking at a show, maybe like Game of Thrones, which is quite dark, it's very difficult to see things sometimes because the contrast is not right. So having that ambient color sensor, I think, is going to be amazing. I can't wait to check it out.
100%. And in a similar vein, but slightly different, talking about the cameras on the Surface Pro 8 as well, and what that means for how we're using it. So obviously the last 18 months, 2 years, however long we want to call it these days, has been a little bit different, right? Like, we're working from home all the time. Kay, I know you're listening and you've been doing school from home, which must be really weird. But, having devices where the microphones can pick you up from anywhere, you don't have to have your device on a certain angle to hear you properly. Having a camera that makes you look good in a low light, because I don't know what it is about where I live, but I always look like it's nighttime in New Zealand. So being able to, light up my face and just having those experiences with Surface, we shout it out as Surface is a great device for using Microsoft Teams. Well, naturally, of course it is, but it is those, the cameras, the microphones, that screen kind of sensitivity that AP is talking about that really makes a huge difference to how these products are actually used and how they kind of really come to life in action.
And the other part of that, Hannah, is how you can hear people, right?
Yeah.
Like, I listen to my wife's computer all day while she's working at home, right? We both sit in the lounge in the kitchen trying to manage a little girl, trying to hop on and off calls. And she's got quite an old device, okay? So sometimes watching her lean in to listen to what's happening is like, oh my, I feel sorry for you. And luckily, we've got our resident sound engineer here. AP, you were talking before about how the speakers and not just the microphone kind of can detect the 3D spatial stuff around it, right? I can't explain it like you can. You make it sound easy.
That was like thanks for that, Fletch. Thanks.
No. Just
was that
say something intelligent. Say something intelligent. There's been a redesign for the new stereo speakers, which is pretty amazing. And it's got what they call adaptive equalization. So as volume drops, it will balance the bass and treble where it needs to be boosted. So it's optimized to deliver across the entire sort of frequency. So what that means is that with Dolby Atmos and being able to incorporate Dolby Vision, you're going to get this kind of 360-degree sound space in front of you, so you won't feel like the sound is coming from the left or the right, or kind of you have to be in the center. It's going to give you that holistic experience, which I think has been missing from lots of devices, right? Especially if you're on the go. You know, like you said, Fletch, you're working on the couch or you're working on the kitchen table, and you know, it's not always great to have these in your ears all day. You want to just have that kind of unique and authentic experience. Stuff like that matters, and that's not just 100%. For a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting or whatever you're doing. It's the same thing when you're going to be watching, you know, your stuff or playing a game on, you know, the Surface Pro 8 or whatever. All of that comes together. And for something, I can't remember how thin it is, very thin. Like, how do they even do that? And that's, you know, a collaboration between Dolby and us and just making sure that the technology goes right. There you go. I nerded out for you.
Boom.
I loved it. But those are the super crucial things that matter, right? And I get so excited every time I talk about these products. Obviously, it's been a really busy morning for us, and we've talked a lot, we've listened a lot. But I cannot wait to get my hands on these, to see these in action, and to test them out, to, you know, really put pressure on them and be like, I'm excited for this, but I want to try it. Absolutely. Alexander is right there with me. And I think that going back to that haptic pen, I cannot wait. You know, I hear about it and it sounds really cool, but to actually see what that feels like and the difference it makes, I think that's, got to see it to believe it.
Absolutely. Guys, I know we've only technically got 20 minutes left. I think there's a high possibility of us going over time.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
We need to show the next one, right, Hannah? The one I'm like even more excited about, if that's possible.
I have watched this video so many times this morning. Monique shouted out the original Surface Studio video earlier in the chat, and the song is the same. I shed a little tear. I shed a little tear watching this morning. So let's hope I don't do that again, and let's watch it, eh?
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, driving in a world of my creation. We'll see, we'll defy explanation. There's nothing to add. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to
I'm just sitting here like a proud parent right now. Not a parent, but I'm just sitting there being like, look at you go. Look at you go, Surface. Amazing. I think one of you guys better take it away to begin with, because I'm still a little bit that moment where, sorry, I said I was not going to say anything, and then I was like, never mind. But that moment where they move the screen for the first time, it is at exactly the same point in the tune as when they push the studio down for the first time. Seen some people reminiscing about that, but man, like, that feeling that I get when I see that video and it's something totally new, it's something I've never seen before in a device, that new hinge is incredible. And I am so excited. Monique said it's a good thing you couldn't see or hear me. Same girl, because I was losing my little mind. Just like, yes, oh my gosh. Fletch and AP had the pleasure of seeing me just be like, yay, oh my gosh, because absolute goosebumps, Steve. You were totally right. I'm so excited, guys. What are you most excited about for this product? Fletcher, go
it's too
first this
hard.
time.
It's so hard. Can I just say the product? Because I'm just excited to get it. Like, this is. I don't remember being so excited for a product. That song really hits me in the feels, like it hypes me up so bad as well.
Straight in the face.
I just, you know what? I think I have to just choose versatility. I'm going to choose a word that encompasses a lot, because that's how I like to cheat with things.
Fair enough.
But, that form factor is amazing. I love being able to transform things like that and use them in different ways, because I can think of a different way I would use the device in all three of those modes that we saw, right? Whether it's watching movies and I don't need that keyboard there, or it's drawing and taking my ideas down, or letting my little girl do some coloring in, or just using it like a normal laptop. That's awesome. But, because I've cheated, that pen where it sits and charges, oh my gosh.
Fletch.
Like,
I had a lot of oh my gosh moments in the video, but I think that that was one of them, right? That moment where the pen magnetically docks into underneath and it charges there as well. I love that it has somewhere to live, it has somewhere to charge. I'm so excited. Like that new pen experience, we've gone on about it a little bit, I'm sure, but in case you couldn't tell, we're pretty excited about it. It's quite a big deal. It's going to be so awesome. And yeah, I really, like Fletch said, I love the form factor, but I love that the form factor is inclusive of housing a pen.
Absolutely. And I could keep going. I could say it's not just versatile in form factor, it's versatile in performance, but I'll stop and let someone else start talking.
We'll definitely revisit it. But AP, what about you, my friend?
So much stuff to talk about. And I hope, are you going to shoot me if I talk about the speakers, either of you?
I won't. No, I'll be a little bit sad,
cool.
but I might just talk over you when I get excited, because that's what I do.
That's all right. What I love about this is that, that whole sort of studio essence for creating, that's something I think we could probably all agree that wasn't the greatest out of the speakers in the book 3. So, yeah. So now we've just turned it up to 12, really, with this. So we've got 4 Omnisonic speakers built into the chassis, which is crazy. Now, I just read something, because we're learning as well as everyone else. These are two-way. And if you don't know anything about speakers, two-way is kind of there's 2 separate drivers in there. So, if you had anything two-way versus just one woofer, it's much easier to be ultra clear when you have sort of 2 drivers in the one thing. So I don't even know if the Surface Laptop 4 has dual driver Omnisonic speakers. It may not. We'll have to check that out. But just when that wasn't enough, there's actually 2 subwoofers built into that chassis. So they're invisible. They sit in the chamber below the keyboard, where, and we've talked many times before about how you need to use space and the volume of air to be able to punch this stuff out. So that's pretty incredible you've done that. Having said that, though, that's what I'd expect from this device. It's got all of the power in the world, which I'm sure you guys are going to talk about. If I'm editing some video, I want to get, how is this going to sound? When the people are going to be listening to it, or if I'm making music, I want to be able to use that rather than having to have headphones all of the time. Lots of different iterations there. So I think that's pretty massive. As well as that, it's got Dolby Vision built in, and so all of that kind of niceness in the speakers is going to bring whatever's on the screen to life. So yeah, a little bit excited about that. Very cool.
I totally agree. And like,
there's more.
Yeah,
but, you know.
What you're saying about the speakers, like for anyone who's ever done any video editing or like music production work, there is nothing worse than like editing a track completely with really nice high quality headphones on, and then you like, export it and then you play it back on your phone and you're like, this sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Like, where's the bass at? What's going on here? So being able to like test this out in different mediums, being able to, just put it into that stage mode and watch a movie and just have that on the couch next to you is so good. And, I love everything that you guys have said. And I don't know how much more I can add, but I also feel like we could talk all day about this as well. And this weird, like, it is just going to be so good. And I think that moment where you see something that you've never seen before for the first time, that's just how I feel right now. Like, and every time I watch that video, I pick up on something a little bit different. Like AP said, we're still learning. It's been a really busy morning for us. We all got up and we're like, tell me everything you know, internet. Let's find everything we possibly can about these devices. So we'll definitely be doing some more streams and kind of focusing on each product individually as well, because there is so much goodness to all of these products that we've done as best we can today. But I'm sure there's going to be more, right?
Absolutely. I think one thing that I'd like Fletch to point out, because he is our technical guru here, is that book 3 is pretty amazing and pretty powerful, right? So we have turned it up to, let's say 12.5 when it comes to the GPU that's built into this. Like, but I'm a bit on the same page when it comes to, graphic stuff as Hannah. I don't really know, but what does it actually mean, Fletch? Like what? Because I remember the RTX thing that everyone wanted with the book 3 wasn't available as a consumer SKU, and they're like, that would blow my mind if that came on a consumer device. And here we are. But what does it actually mean for us?
Oh man, so this device has amazingly powerful specs, like you say, AP. Like, it's got RTX. It goes up to 3050 Ti's, which are the like top of the top mobile 3050 graphics card. So what does that mean? This has the grunt to game. It has the grunt to video edit and do any kind of editing that you want to do CAD work. This can do it. And it can do it really well because not only does it have the grunt, but it's got the right kind of grunt. So we talked when Laptop 4 came out, what's the difference between AMD and Intel? Well, Intel's really good at running individual programs. AMD's really good at spreading that power over multiple ones. And this has Intel, and not just Intel, something called an H-series Intel in it, which is like the top laptop style processor at running single programs. So it's got the power, and it's designed to do what people want to do when they buy this device, which is all those editing things. So it's really seamless and really amazing when, it does take that. And even, like, it doesn't just stop there. Even at the entry-level SKUs where it doesn't have a dedicated graphics card, so that's a card specifically there to run all those visuals, it's got a really impressive integrated one. So it means it's ones that's built into the processor, but it actually can do light gaming on its own there. The integrated graphics it's got is called Intel XE, and I'm pretty sure it was with Overwatch that they clocked close to 120 frames per second on an integrated graphics card. So that's amazing. That is so powerful.
It's going to be a big deal. And I like as soon as Fletch said the number of the graphics card, me and AP were both just like, oh, yep. And as soon as you said, but here's what it means, we were both just like, now we're listening. Like, this is the time that we understand. And it all makes sense. And I think that, all of these products that we talked about today, I think that, like we said, the spec bump in them from, previous generations or, in comparison to maybe some other similar products on the market, they definitely all make you go, wow. But they then make you go like, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, when you pair them with the experiences that you can have with them. And AP, I'd love to hear from you about some Windows 11 features specifically for the Surface Laptop Studio. What do you think this can show off really super well?
I think it's going to show off. No, just I don't know where you're going with this.
There's too many options. I think
I think the inking experience is going to be really awesome on here as well too. But sort of moving away from that, because we kind of know it's going to be a great inking experience. I think having the dual far-field studio mics in there and being able to have voice input from Windows 11 with that kind of AI technology to help you do to help you punctuate, which will be pretty cool. Something I think is going to be massive on this is the snap groups and the snap layouts, and also, and what I've been playing with Windows 11 a bit on my laptop 4, and what I didn't realize how powerful it is like the whole desktop thing is easy now. So not only can you have a snap group layout here, but you can just use those traditional touch gestures to go back and forth with full screen. Because I know in creative, if you're looking at audio tracks or something like that, or you're working on some sort of graphic artwork, you need the whole screen. But you also need the information that you kind of want to snap there, so you can have the little tidbits and then move it to that desktop, and it's instantaneous. Switching between, which I think is super cool. And one thing that we've got dead right with Windows 11 just made it a little bit easier. And I think this is the perfect device for that, as well as that. And this is my last point. I just think that the touch experience with that too, like if you are wanting to, this is your work device and you just need something super grunty and you want to watch a movie on there, you've got the choice of using the trackpad, or you've got the choice of a really nice touch experience. And like Carl and Fletch were saying before, I'm in the Big Fingers Club as well too, and I found it very difficult for Windows 10 in tablet mode to be as accurate as I needed to be. And because this is so much more relaxed and more like a smartphone or a tablet experience, I'm going to be able to go, Netflix, whatever, and then just push it up to the top and just get on with what I need to do. So I think there's like non-typical demos that we could do with this as well, as part of just being that sort of creative piece. I'll stop talking.
Absolutely. And I think that like using the form factor of this device to, like you're saying, bring the desktops, bring the snap layouts and groups, bringing all of those things to life, and how on one device you can do so many different things. Like I've also been trying out Windows 11 on my devices as well. And when I dock into my Surface Dock, and it just, or when I undock and I move away, that it just minimizes everything I had. And, this morning I've had a lot of windows open. I've had too many things open at once. But the fact that I can move around and like it just minimizes, and then when I plug back in, it re-maximizes on that window. Like it just knows. And that experience is something that I didn't know I was frustrated with before I had that. And I think, it can speak to the accessories that we'd probably want to pair this device with, like a Surface Dock or a USB hub of some sort. It can speak to that stage mode. It can speak to that studio mode as well. All of those really awesome things. It comes to life, both Windows 11 and the device in action. And I think that, like I kind of said, when those things are working together, the hardware and the software, oh my goodness, guys, it's so good. It's just so awesome. And I can't wait to get my hands on all of them. And I think the experience on all of them will be, same, but a bit different. But look, just watch it. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And there's one thing we haven't even started talking about.
What's that?
And that's the beautiful screen on it. So this is also, like a 120 hertz screen. And I think it really, really matters, like more than even on the Pro 8 with this device. The Pro 8, it's a nice to have, and people who are going to use it will just love it. But on this device, you've got the power to be running things it's more of a must, right? Because 120 hertz means that there's it can refresh the screen 120 times in a second, which is similar to frames per second, but not the same. So if you are like running a game that's running 120 frames per second, but you've got it on a screen that only goes 60 hertz, then like you're not really making use of that power and that smooth. Yeah, and on this you do because it's got that fantastic screen built in, and it's 14.4 inches in the same size chassis, more or less, as the Surface Book 3 13.5-inch device. So
that's amazing, right? And Thank you so much, Fletch, because you've totally done more justice than me being like, it makes playing SimCity on my phone better. Like, that's not, it's an example of 120 hertz, but it's not as good as the one you just gave. AP.
I just read something that just blew my mind, and I'm not sure whether I haven't paid attention to this. The trackpad on this has got haptic feedback.
Yes. Oh.
Haptic feedback. Oh,
what are you doing? Tell me that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I believe it was in the video, but yes, how good. How good, because like sometimes on your trackpad, especially when you can like double tap everywhere on it, having that just like reassuring like that you've got it right. Very, very cool. And the other thing that's really awesome about the trackpad on this is that, you know, it has been built from the bottom up with Windows 11 in mind. So all of those touch gestures that we're talking about that you can do both on screen and on the trackpad has like been 100% like specialized to be able to really nail those commands. And yeah, that haptic feedback and the trackpad and the pen. I didn't know I needed it. Didn't know I wanted it. But now I know that I can have it. I must have it. And I cannot wait to get my hands on it and try it.
That's going to be so cool.
Only the best for me, guys.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. It's like I've lost track of even what we've talked about because it's too exciting. There's too much. Like, these are exciting devices to hit the market, and it's such an awesome time to, you know, be working with Microsoft or for Microsoft doing this stuff.
100%. It is, I think, the most exciting time ever. You know, Windows 11 on its own blew my mind. Super pumped, super excited. But paired with this, paired with what's coming to Office, oh my goodness. Wowie, guys. I am so super pumped. But I believe that we are at time for today. We could probably keep going another hour, but I think it would be really awesome to, you know, do a little bit more research on these products and come back and do some spotlights on them as individuals. I sure did come back at the right time. Like I said, I got a feeling, and it's like I was summoned.
Yeah, we could stick around, but there's probably going to be people who get a bit annoyed at us because we are meant to go to a meeting. So we better wrap it up.
That's right.
What? We have to do other parts of our job too?
Is this
why can't we just do the fun bits?
All right, guys. What would you like to leave us with today, AP?
What wise words do you have?
What wise words do you have?
I don't think I've got any wise words today. But get excited, people, because this is massive. Like, I've been around for a long time, and there hasn't been so much innovation plugged into so many devices for so long. I honestly cannot wait to sort of deep dive into these. I'm looking forward to those spotlight streams, and we can sort of bring some more knowledge nuggets up for people and just show, you know, why Surface is original by design, why we push the boundaries to do this stuff. So yeah, I'm super stoked and super proud to be where I am at the moment. So.
100%. And even better, I just have to say it, AP, whether you want me to or not, I feel like you're being rewarded as well, because these things are going to, Windows 11 and Surface devices will start landing around the world on Andrew Pearson's birthday.
That is true. That is true.
So even more exciting. It's a big day for many reasons. But I won't dwell on that. Fletch, what are your wise words to close out with today?
Head over to ExpertZone, because there is a whole bunch of new courses and a new accreditation that dropped. So if you want to, you know, if you're running out of that Game Pass Ultimate, head on there, because the new Xbox accreditation just dropped today. They needed to get on to the excitement as well, and Xbox is exciting. So go get it, get the games. When these new Surfaces arrive and everyone buys the new laptop studios, you'll be able to use it to play a whole bunch on there.
Cool. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you to everyone in the comments. Thank you for sharing in this awesome excitement with us. We will be back with more. But like Fletch said, keep it locked to ExpertZone, where you can find all of your learning and accreditation needs from Microsoft. Keep it locked to our social channels. I hope I get all of them. Our Facebook, our Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. There's one more.
Twitter? Did we do Twitter?
Twitter. I think it was Twitter that I forgot.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We will catch you next time.